Welcome, everybody, to episode 47 of the Next Generation of Superstars podcast. Very grateful and fortunate to have Dillon Cotton to join us today's episode. He currently competes in track and field at the University of Madonna. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you for having me, man. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit how you found your passion growing up, for the sport of track and field.
So actually, I've always had a passion for track and field since like eighth grade, but from eighth grade to my senior year of high school, I was doing track and basketball. But my senior year of high school, I got hurt playing basketball, so I decided to hang it up because I didn't want to re-injure myself, and I decided to take track serious my senior year. And I'm really just fortunate. I'm really just fortunate to be here.
I love it. I love it. And so, kind of talk more about, that support from family and friends and even your peers. As you were really taking that sport more seriously and really advancing in it.
Yeah, so after my senior year, I wasn't really highly recruited because I started my senior year, and once my senior year ended, I made states, team finished second in the state, everything was going good. So I was like, okay, okay, I'm gonna take track serious because I want to run track in college. So my coach at the time knew somebody at a Division II institution, and they reached out. The Division II institution gave me an offer, Northwood University. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they gave me an offer. I couldn't take it because it was too expensive. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, like where do I go now? That's part of like what I was thinking. And on the other hand, I was like, okay, I'm gonna train, sit out a year, and then I'm gonna transfer to another institution, and I'm gonna do my thing there.
Got it. And so you're currently in your freshman season right now.
So before I transferred to Madonna, I took a semester off to work, and then this past January, I took classes at my local community college, and then I transferred here. So on the track, I'm a freshman, but I guess academically, you can say I'm a sophomore. It's kind of complicated.
Right. Got it. So sophomore academically. So looking back on just these past couple of years, has there been any memorable moment that you've had with even if it was senior year when you first really started to take that more seriously? Has there been any memorable moments that you kind of look back on that you cherish in the sport so far?
My favorite moment was senior year at the state meet, like hearing that the boys team finished second in the state, not knowing that we would even like finish that high because going into the state meet, we were still ranked top 10 in the state, but nobody on the team expected to come top three. So
Right.
hearing that and like knowing that we did actually have an opportunity to win because we only lost by 10 points, I would definitely say that's my favorite moment when it comes to my track and field career.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And kind of talk more about just what is that atmosphere like when you're like at a state meet, for example. Like what does that
Hmm.
atmosphere feel like? What's kind of like the camaraderie with your teammates?
Yeah.
What does it all kind of feel like to you?
So I remember the state meet. It was almost a sold out crowd. Like the stadium was huge. So one side, the entire stands were full, and there was still some people on the other side. But it was a lot of people, and like going out onto the track for my event because I qualified in the state meet for the 4x4. So going out, like lining up and all that, seeing the crowd, it kind of gave me that adrenaline boost I needed to run that first leg. And if you know track and field, the 4x4 is probably one of the hardest relays to run.
You're
The
right.
400 in general is one of the hardest events to run.
It's incredible, and just to be able to see all that support, from the people and the fans out there,
Yep.
is inspirational to be able to be there and do what you love.
Yeah.
What's kind of been the support from, like, if you have any favorite coaches or mentors even that have really helped you kind of with your mindset around the
Hmm.
sport?
Okay, so my high school, I could definitely say that my high school coaches definitely made me fall in love with track and field. Like I started in eighth grade, but I kind of did track and field to help me with my conditioning for basketball. And once I started
Right.
running track my senior year and like really learning about the sport, I began to fall more in love with it. I began to enjoy it more, and I began to really like embrace it more. Especially like realizing the opportunities that I potentially have when it comes to track and field, like running pro, going to the Olympics, world championships, even having the title of potentially in the years to come being fastest man in the world in the 400.
I love it. I love it. And to be able to have that support and guidance, from people like your coaches and other people that you look up to, just really helps you. It helps you with
Yeah,
your game and what you need to do every day to train and be ready for
yep.
every competition that you have. What about more of the fans and the engagement that you've interacted? If you've interacted with fans more online on social media or even offline, like after your meets, what's that kind of the fan engagement look like for you so far?
I wouldn't really say I have fans necessarily. I'd say more supporters. But the only people that I can really think of is probably my mom, because my mom is like my best friend, my little brother, my dad, my uncle, even one of my good friends that loaned me his laptop. That was fortunate enough to use his laptop. I tell him about my aspirations, excuse me, my
Right.
aspirations that I have in track and field, and he supports it because my friend he goes here, he plays football, he's trying to go to the NFL, so we kind of have like the same mindset. We kind of have the same mindset, and we both want to make it to the highest level in our respective sport.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's nice to be able to have that support, right? Because
Yeah.
there's always going to be ups and downs, whether it's in sports or business or anything else in life. So
Hmm.
to be able to have that good support system in place, can really make a huge difference. And more into a huge topic these past couple of years is NIL. And
Hmm.
the name, image, and likeness of student athletes right now is continuously growing, and it's becoming exciting because there's so much technology and things that are being innovative in the sports industry right now.
Yeah.
What do you really love the most about being able to use your name, image, and likeness to build your brand and to really be able to connect with other companies and really be able to benefit from it?
Yeah. Okay. So I love it because athletes can get paid. I mean, that's really the main thing. College athletes can get paid the free products from the respective brands that want to work with you. Just the marketing aspect of it, the endorsement aspect of it, like especially if you sponsored by like the bigger brands like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all those brands, that's almost $500,000 right in your pocket as a college athlete. With NIL, you don't even really I want to say you don't really need to go pro because of all the endorsement money that people can get, especially college athletes, especially if you were like really good in high school, like a 5-star recruit, one of the best in the country. That's automatically $1 million in your pocket at 19 years old.
Yep. Yeah, no, and you're spot on. I mean, but it's really setting student athletes like yourself up for success even after your career, right? Even if you go and
Yeah.
take it to professional level, or if you don't, it doesn't matter because either way, you're learning all the same skills, in sports, and you're able to still study and get your education, but you're able to actually monetize because as everyone knows, being a student athlete, you're putting in more hours than people think, right? And
Hmm.
it's a lot of those after hours that people don't know about, and you're actually now getting compensated for all that extra work. And I think it was a long time coming, and for it to now be here allows you to really build that brand that can be sustainable and long
Yeah.
and last even after your playing days.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely
What's
agree.
been just this whole NIL era? I know there's so many brands out there, and you talk about like Nike and Adidas and all these other big brands out there. What would
Hmm.
be your dream brand deal if you could choose one company right now?
So I'm into weightlifting and I like take like pre-workout, protein powder, creatine, all that. So I've been heavy on this brand called Ghost. So if I could get like a deal with them and get all their free products and the merchandise, I feel like that's my number one. I feel like everybody
Yeah,
else's number one would be like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour,
right.
Gucci, etc. But me, I like to work out, so I say my dream brand would be Ghost for sure.
I love it. I love it. So if
It would be
Ghost is
Ghost for
listening
sure.
to our audience right now, we need
Come
to
on, hit
get
me
we
up.
need to get
Hit
Dylan
me
a
up.
brand
Hit
deal
me
with
up. Get me
Ghost.
right. Get me
I
right.
love that. I love that. And so, going more into just your sport of track and field, what really fuels your passion and how do you stay motivated on a daily basis? Because, there's so many ups and downs, there's a lot of obstacles you have to conquer as an
Yep.
athlete. What
Yep.
really fuels your passion and kind of sparks that fire every day?
Yep. I say the main thing that sparks my fire every day is knowing how far I could take track and field, and knowing that I could build relationships that'll last a lifetime. Because when I was playing basketball, like I met people, but it would be like very quick, like at the tournament that I was at, or at the game that I was at, like talking to people on the other team. But with track and field, I still talk to some of my good friends that I trained with, like senior year summer. He runs track at Michigan State. Uh, him and just mainly really just mainly the relationships that I know that I could build from the sport of track and field, knowing that we all have the same goal, the same mindset, that we could get each other better in our respective events. We critique each other on our in our respective events, send each other races, saying like, okay, how did I get out the blocks? How was my turnover? Were my arms pumping hard enough? Was I tense? Stuff like that.
Yep. Yep. And that's so nice to be able to do that, right? To be able to have, the
Yeah.
relationships you build over time and to be able to really nurture those new relationships you make, and to be able to, bounce new ideas off people, right? And say
Hmm.
like, share those experiences and be able to grow, right? And I think
Hmm.
that's the biggest thing that you see is that there's a big path ahead in this sport, and you can really just cherish every moment. Now, if you do have any free time in your hands, Dylan, what's kind of your biggest passions or hustles or stuff that you like to do, in your free time?
Uh, Main thing that I really like to do in my free time besides working out on the track, I really like to hang out with my friends, listen to music, eat, talking to somebody that really likes to snack. I love to eat snacks.
I love it.
um, but main thing that I would say is hang out with friends, listen to music, or work out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And kind of talking more about the overall vision right now, as you're a collegiate athlete, at
Mhm.
Madonna. What's kind of like your big vision that you want to take, within the sport of track and field?
My big vision. Mainly right now, I'm just focused on this season coming up because our first race is December 1st. I'm mainly focused on going to nationals as a freshman, becoming an All American, going to nationals outdoor, All American outdoor, and even potentially making the U20 trials.
I
But
love it.
like outside of college, I'd say definitely going pro and making the Olympics for sure.
That'd be awesome. We would love to be
Hmm.
out there if you to support you and in anything you do
Hmm.
with your path there, and especially if you made it Olympics, would be an incredible thing to
Yeah.
experience that atmosphere
Hmm.
and really be able to represent your country. And I think
Hmm.
that
For
that's something
sure.
that's incredible. So what we like to do at every episode in the end, Dylan, we like to wrap up with this question right here. What would be if you could look at the next generation, the younger people that look up to you, what would be three pieces of advice that you would give to them to inspire them in anything that you've seen that you would love to give back to?
Okay. I say the main piece of advice and the one that I followed most was just bet on yourself because like nobody knows the goals that you have or the things that you want to do besides you. Like, you could tell people what you want to do, but they'll either fake it in your face like they support you and laugh behind your back, or they'll just like they'll doubt you from the beginning. Like it's very rare to find people that actually support you and support your goals. Like I'm very fortunate to have my group of friends that all are collegiate athletes here that support me and my dreams. I support their dreams. I support what they want to do. They support me, and like they hold me accountable as well as I hold them accountable. Second thing I would say grades. I would say definitely academics. Stay on top of your academics because academics, especially at like the higher D1 institutions like the SEC schools, Big Ten, they mainly focus on academics as well as athletics, but more so academics
Right.
because they're more known across the country, really across the world, especially on the track and field side. They get track at like those bigger schools get athletes from all across the world that want to go pro but don't have the resources they do in their home country, so they come to the U.S. And my final piece of advice, I would say, hmm, have fun. Really, just have fun. It's cool. It's okay to take things serious, but don't be serious in your sport all the time. And I believe that comes from just like the teammates you have, the support that you have, support staff, the coaches, people that you can joke around with. But at the same time, when you really need to lock in, dial in, like zone in, you have the people that can do that, and they hold you accountable as well as you holding them accountable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dylan, just to recap everything you said number one, to bet on yourself, to always believe in yourself and to
Yep.
be able to turn that vision to reality.
Yep.
And then you said number two, focus on academics. I think that's a
Yeah.
huge thing, as you're a student athlete, right, to always be able to still focus and balance
Yeah.
that time. And then you said number three, to have fun and enjoy your
Yeah.
sport. And I think
Yep.
all three pieces of those
Yep.
advice are beneficial and great tips for the younger generation that look up to you, as an inspirational athlete. So Dillon Cotton here. Make sure to follow him all over social media. Stay tuned for his season this year, starting in December. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we look
No
forward
problem.
to a great year ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yep.